The 1 minute board goes up for Sassel Global Touring Cars, race number 2 here at the Kyalami Motorsport Festival. As that 30-second board goes up, the Porsche leaves the front end of the grid, and the rest of this pack of cars are going to be making their way down towards Crowthorne Corner. Rob, the first race, very interesting turnaround of events there. BMW showing their dominance initially, but it looked like the Volkswagens had a little bit of late race pace. And the information we were given in between the races, these cars are split by about 2 or 3 kilowatts in difference in power. So there really isn't anything in it in terms of the power of the cars. It's now up to the ability of the guys to sort those cars out to handle well, and whether they're going to be good in the beginning of the race or the end of the race. How that's going to work, it all goes down to the technical aspect that's thrown around in these teams in the pit boxes between the 2 heats of racing.
Yeah, well, massive things like just tire pressure makes a huge difference at the beginning or the start or the end of the race. So a lot of guys setting up, it looks like the BMW set their cars up for an early start, and the VW certainly came into their own towards the end of the race. But some big factors, Johan Fourie, we know that he was running right at the front there, had some kind of issue on that BMW, and he dropped down just a little bit. So there's plenty of factors that are going to be thrown in here. Daniel Rowe showed that he had the pace, got taken out in, well, I can't say taken out, but he got clipped in turn number 1. And then his general race pace after that was good enough for top 3. Well,
so let me tell you something. You were spot on in terms of picking up what part went flying off Johan Fourie's car. It was his exhaust pipe. It went flying straight into the oncoming Michael van Rooyen machine. So that was the one issue we had. The other thing you've got to take into account now is that we've got also a reverse grid here for race number 2. So some fun and games to see the slightly faster cars coming from the back of the field and making their way to the front end throughout these 12 laps of action. So any second now, of course, that Porsche will pull to the sideline and off the circuit. It'll then be up to that front row to sort out. Thumbs up from our cameraman. That's always nice to see when we live, eh? We're ready to go. Yes, and so is the guy at the top of the hill. All right, so the man to beat in the first race for GTC2 was the car second last from the back. Yep. That is Keegan Masters, and he'll be looking to come through that field as quickly as he can. And look out, I think the one man who's got a massive advantage here is that man who's on pole position.
Daniel Rowe, yeah.
Didn't quite have the race go his way in race number 1, but now, of course, being in the front of this race and knowing that his teammate, Matthew Hodges, had such good late race pace, if he can get away, there's a possibility he could possibly go from flag to flag here. But the man who gave him the most amount of hell in that first race is Simon Moss, and he's alongside him as they head down towards Cheetah Corner right now.
Yeah, Johan Fourie, he'll be looking to make amends as well. Michael Stephen, the most consistent man in race number 1, picked up that podium after he was nowhere near it, it seemed like, at one point in the race. So a lot of factors now to be played in this race. You're going to come across the line now. Remember, no overtaking until you get to the line, and then race will be underway, and then we'll have to wait and see if that turn 1 incident between Moss and Rowe will make an ugly turn once again, or if it will all be satisfactory going into turn number 1. Here we go, across the line. It's flat out stuff now. It's VW versus Audi versus BMW. Come now, going into turn 1. Who will it be? It looks like one of the Audis was pulling to the inside there. They're going to come right across the pit lane. That's how defensive they go. Look at that, almost on the grass there, going on the inside. But Daniel Rowe does look like he'll hold on to that whole shot. Here comes Johan Fourie around the outside. It's getting very tight there, the EPS car, unable to make it stick, and here comes the 2 VWs now, right where they want to be, and the Audi. I think that might be Moss that's up into second.
Yeah, Moss into second place, Fourie's third, and he's fighting off Hodges, who's fighting off Michael Stephen and Gennaro Bonafide as they come flying through there. The only car who didn't make it out, of course, is the very damaged Robert Volk. Not himself, but the car having some issues as it went off the circuit at the bottom of the mine shaft through the sweep. And there you can see his teammate already making up one position, getting through and making his way up. Look at the start from Masters. He's gone to second place off the line from the back of the field in GTC2. He's caught all those cars napping, and he's probably used the opportunity that was given to him with a couple of cars running wide in turn 1 at Crowthorne to get up right behind Adrian Wood, who leads things out in GTC2. They fly through the S's, and as I said, Michael Stephen now trying to hang on to the back end of Gennaro Bonafide and looking for him to tow him up the road and get him into the hunt for the front end of this field.
Bonafide knows that the VW certainly have the pace going into the second part of the race, so you want to try and get to the front of the field as quickly as possible. Ooh, getting a little bit out of shape there. That's going to allow Stephen on the inside. Yeah, Bonafide just looking a little bit flustered. I think just trying to get as much pace as he can under that car. Here comes one of the Audis down now. They'll be very brave to pass on the inside there. 240 k's an hour plus. Flat out stuff from these two guys side by side. No love lost there, as we saw in race number 1. And here comes Fourie. Whoa, that was so close.
Look at Moss diving on the inside.
Driving there from Simon Moss.
Simon Moss dives on the inside. He might have the inside for Cheetah Corner as he comes up. He's going to take the lead. He's gone through and he's forced Hodges wide. Daniel Rowe wide. Daniel Rowe gets out of shape. Tags Fourie. Comes straight across on Johan Fourie. Had nowhere to go, unfortunately. He just put that Dunlop tyre onto the dirt and he got completely out of shape. So that is 2 out of 2 there for Daniel Rowe. It's all gone wrong for that side of Volkswagen Motorsport. Daniel Rowe not happy, going to be happy about that, that is for sure. Hope we can get a quick action replay of that. But as they get away, Simon Moss now opens up a little bit of a lead. Faree's got some damage on that car. He got tagged ever so slightly as he came out of Cheetah Corner. Those two cars going through there were absolutely side by side. There was definitely going to be some kind of issue. We've seen it all race day long. You cannot put two cars through Cheetah Corner side by side and expect to come out with three cars on the other side, because that's not what's going to happen. Now Matthew Hodges is sitting and thinking to himself, hang on a second, if those two cars at the front end, we know that Moss is fighting for an opportunity to turn things around here. But Matthew Hodges had it all going in the right way. There goes the exhaust pipe again. That's it again on, I think, on Faree's car. Yeah, potentially going to be that car that's got another exhaust pipe flying off again. But now Faree looking to close down on Simon Moss. Hodges is there, so it's Stephen. And Gennaro Bonafide maybe just sitting back waiting to see what's going to go wrong here at the front end, because so far it's been an absolute epic start to the second race.
Yeah, Bonafide will know better than anyone that you really just need at the end of the race where you need to make a count. And at the moment, just going to sit there. He's already seen plenty of action ahead of him. As here we go, the VW man coming on the inside. Oh, that was so close. But he makes a move on the inside there. Hodges now up into second place ahead of Faree. I think Faree will have some kind of effect now, not having that pipe, maybe a little bit loss of power or something. But certainly, again, we talk about the setup of the cars. Have you set it up to do the complete 12 lap at a certain pace, or just try and pull away at the front, which Simon Moss is trying to do now, but here come the VWs, and he's bringing that whole train with him. So while Moss is trying to get away at the front, I think the chasing pack are slowly but surely just going to close that gap down.
Hodges is definitely bringing them along for the ride. You can see Faree tucked in behind him, looking to run with Hodges' pace. A little bit of carnage left over there. You can see just the little bits and pieces of the car still stuck in the middle of the circuit. So yellow flags are still down there. So there's no overtaking into that final turn just yet until they can clear that car out of the way. Oh, Adrian Wood with a massive one. That is
huge. The wheels are gone on that car.
That is absolutely huge. And Adrian Wood, fortunately, to get out of that, you can see, as you said, Rob, no wheels on that car. He's literally driven them completely off the car, and that's going down into Crocodiles. So coming out of Crocodiles in a GTI, it's going to be close to 220 odd k's an hour as opposed to the 240, 260 that the bigger cars are getting. And he's now on the sideline. So possibility here, potentially for a safety car. We'll wait and see what the COC has to say about that. But right now, they're not worried about it at the front end. You can see. To see, okay, Hodges has got up the road there.
I think I can
just
see a red flag there.
Was it a red flag? Wait and see as they come through. Keep an eye on that on the sidelines. We'll wait and see exactly what that's going to be in terms of the call. There's a lot of debris down in the bowl, so there's a possibility of a red flag. Yes, and there it comes. Red flag coming out there. They're going to have to restart this one. They've completed 2, which means they'll probably give them another 10 lapper to sort this out. But there goes the very disheartened Daniel Rowe walking across. You can see he's not happy about that situation. It definitely hasn't worked out the way he wanted it. And a little touch there between himself and coming together with Johan Faree. Faree, unfortunately, was stuck in the middle of nowhere. He had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Daniel Rowe just put the wheel wrong onto the dirt, came across and slam-banged into him. And there's the result of that little incident. Daniel Rowe's car parked on the sideline in Ingwe Corner, the final turn at Kyalami.
And this is so frustrating for Daniel Rowe because he knows that he had the pace to run at the front in both races. And both races he's had this incident that has really cost him the race. In race number 1, clipped with Simon Moss in the early part, still was able to come through and pick up some valuable points. And now in race number 2, you can see him offline, gets on the grass, all that horsepower and grass with no traction translates to a sideways car, clips Faree. Does well to hang on to it, but by that time the car is all kinds of damaged.
Johan Faree was so unlucky to be in that situation. And Daniel Rowe, I think if there'd been no other cars around him, he might have been able to catch that. But unfortunately, it didn't work out that way as he goes sliding into the exit point of Ingwe Corner. You can see in the background, a lot of debris. I'm not quite sure if we've got an incident that happened between Adrian Wood. Adrian Wood was leading when this happened. So Woody might have come through there and maybe just gone a little bit too defensive. Maybe he locked up and unfortunately got caught out as they went into Crocodiles. And Woody now parked on the sideline, and hopefully we'll have that for the television production, because I know that we have got live cameras here today, which means we cannot record to the footage we're seeing right now unless we pick up on that action initially on our screens. So
check
all we've got
wheels.
is
there's a wheel and a suspension. Just
let me tell you something. He's come through there and he's got it lit, and it's literally stayed on the side of the car until he hit the grass. And as soon as he hit the grass, the wheels are broken off, the suspension snapped, and he's ended off just sliding onto the grass and stopping dead. So fortunately, he's okay. He walked away from that as well. Both drivers okay. Some second-hand cars, unfortunately, they're both in GTC and the GTC2 category. And a bit of a baptism of fire there for Adrian Wood in this magnificent GTC2 category. So lots of guys to come and help. You can see the marshals shouting for a bit of assistance because they're going to need a few more hands to get that car onto a flatbed, because there's no wheels on the car. So it's going to be a little bit of a break in proceedings here, I think, until we get going again. But what a way to start this Once again, a reminder to everybody out there in live PA land. Remember, we've got the guys at Pirelli who are doing a dynamic handling circuit today and the skid pan. And remember that the guys from Dunlop here in Midrand and the guys from Dunlop in the Dunlop zone in Boxburg are giving away 4 free tires to anybody that goes out there to ensure that they get their safety checks done before they go on the Easter holiday. So all the tire guys are here at Kyalami giving you awesome specials. You can get Lacquer Bridgestone tires if you want to ride motorcycles. You've got Dunlop's doing a special. You've got Pirelli in the house. It's fantastic. That's what we like to see.
It's the only place to be. Where else would you want to be in Joburg right now other than at Kyalami?
Kyalami.
I know it'd be really nice. Out of my mouth.
You know it'd be really nice? We got like a Kyalami cappuccino and a double thick strawberry milkshake.
Strawberry milkshake. I've been asking for it the whole day and I'm yet to receive.
Yeah, it's okay.
It was in my contract.
Well, fine. It was there.
It was in my contract.
It's fine. It's okay.
We're going to just send I want my 50 rand.
At the end of the day, when we go past Burger King on the way home.
Yeah. I want my 50 rand up front and a double thick strawberry milkshake.
We'll send it to Gary Famata for the additional commentary we're giving him now. The Burger King is going to you. The Burger King bill from not getting the strawberry milkshakes that Megan promised us. Yeah. Okay, Gary, thanks, bud.
It's just how it is.
We have a cell phone that's been handed in. That's quite a nice cell phone. I'd like a cell phone like that, but I don't have one like that. If you're owner of a sexy silver Samsung-styled type phone, you have to come and see Megan in the office and tell her what kind of phone it is and what your screensaver is, and then we might give you that phone back. So if you are out there in PA land and you can hear us live on the PA, please make sure you come up to see the management at Kyalami so that you guys can get your cell phones back. I think while we got a little break in proceedings, let's get back to the live stuff only and maybe find some people around the audience that we can pick up on there, Bren. We had some really nice stuff going out on Facebook, which didn't go out on Facebook.
I can do some karaoke if you want.
With the crowd.
I can do some karaoke.
Let's get some interaction with the crowd. Let's find some
karaoke.
It tells our boss lady here that her PA system is working. Check this out. Hang on. Find us a crowd shot there, please, Bren. Everybody on Facebook, stand by. We're going to try and get a little interaction with our crowd. And you've just turned all the cameras off. Fantastic. Okay, we're going to turn off our live and come back to you just before we go live here. The only camera that's working is on the bridge, as you can see. Look at that. Tilt left, pan right, tilt up, tilt down. Zoom in. Look at that, zoom out. How are you doing on the far side on the main grandstand? Make some noise if you can hear us on the main grandstand. Come on, guys. Stand up, shout, wave, scream. Okay, they're not hearing us.
No.
They're certainly not hearing us. All right.
No, there's a wave.
Is there a wave there?
I can see a wave.
Can we do a wave? Can we do a Mexican wave?
There
Can we do
go.
a Kyalami wave?
There's
a Kyalami wave.
There's a wave.
There we go. Jumping up and down, white T-shirt. We see you, ma'am. That's very nice.
If Rob Portman's the greatest man on earth, wave.
There it is.
Oh, yes.
There you go. White.
I love it.
White umbrella. White umbrella. We can see you waving as well with a white cap on. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. There you go. See, the PA's working. Yeah, the PA system's working. We've got a new PA system here at Kyalami, by the way. There's only certain places that have got it, but they are working frantically to get the whole circuit PA'd by the time we go to Bike Festival and the next big events here at Kyalami. So they are definitely working in the right direction. Escorted from the track after a little off-track excursion he put himself into, tagging Johan Fourie, and Adrian Wood with a big moment down in the bowl. Those two cars both back in pit lane, both drivers okay. A big shout-out. We're on Facebook Live via Internet Live Broadcasting. Thanks, Stephen Lee. Yes, Stephen Lee, I will definitely take that strawberry milkshake. Times two. If you can get them here at Kyalami, you can show us the kind of prowess you have to be part and parcel of the Fast and Ride Fast team.
No, you're beautiful.
I might even be able to wangle you a full subscription to Ride Fast. No,
no. Hey, strawberry milkshake, I'll give you 10.
10. Okay, 10. If that strawberry milkshake gets you before the end of the day, Stephen Lee, we'll make a plan. That'll be a full subscription to Ride Fast magazine. All right, Sasol Global Touring Cars is where we are at the moment, ladies and gents. It's race 2. We're going to have a restart here after those two big incidents. The track is now clear, and it's going to be up to, I want to say the usual contenders, but it's not the usual contenders. There you can see some leftovers of what happened to Daniel Rowe's car.
Poor Toby Fenter's track has just been manhandled today.
Just crazy, hey? I'm going to go and repaint the South African flag. Exactly. I think we should get Daniel Rowe to go and do that. Yeah. It's punishment.
Yeah. Go paint the South African flag.
All right, so front end of this race initially was all about Simon Moss. He can hopefully do the same thing and stay at the front, but it's going to be a hard task to keep it all together at the front end of a pack of cars that is all fighting for these early championship points that are up for grabs. Because remember, the last couple of seasons haven't necessarily been the all-outright winners that have won championships. Michael Stephen has gone back-to-back, being arguably the most consistent driver and staying on the podium every single time. He's done that initially, so let's see if he can do it again.
Well, if you look at the likes of Daniel Rowe, starting the season the way he has is immediately on the back foot.
Yeah.
He's now all those points down, whereas Stevens, who was nowhere near in the title hunt at the beginning of race number 1, is now got brilliant points, and will be leaving here potentially in the top 2 in the championship.
So getting some confirmation of exactly what I thought might happen. A little bit of smoke coming out of the back end of Rainer van Heerden's Ford ST.
Yeah.
But completely new race, 10-lapper. First 2 laps will not count at all. So literally the guys that are out, unfortunately, are out and will not be able to contend. So we're going to have a full restart for 10 laps of action as the car of the year for South Africa pulls to the sideline. And, of course, Westbank will be behind the Motorsport Festival later on this year. So look forward to that as the Westbank Car of the Year makes its way off the track. The Porsche Panamera, now it's up to that awesome Audi of the 38 Special, Simon Moss, to dictate the pace across the line. Remember, on a rolling start, you can roll, but you may not accelerate until those lights go out. So you maintain one set pace here, exactly what Simon Moss is doing, trying to catch everybody else out as they head down towards turn 1.
There we go. We are under starters orders now. This is absolutely brilliant. Let's see what's going to happen. Going down into turn 1. There we go. Once again, using pit lane and everything they possibly can. Simon Moss does look like he'll hold it going into turn 1. Johan Fourie, wonder if they've managed to install the 3rd pipe on that car. Oh, some debris off. Looks like Simon Moss's car.
And I think it was also Fourie's car. So bits and pieces flying off those 2 cars. They were involved in an incident. Good start there from Gennaro Bonafide. Gennaro Bonafide ducking in behind the second, or the first BMW, becoming the second BMW on track. Michael van Rooyen with a slightly better start as well, but not such a good start coming out of Matt Hodges. Hodges right off the back of this pack. It's Audis and BMWs, and the Volkswagen that seemed to have the pace and took the first race win pretty easily is not having it his own way. Same thing can be said here for the second start of GTC2, as Masters has come from the back of the field, but he hasn't gone to second, he's gone to 4th by the time they get to Sunset. He's going around the outside of Brad Liebenberg, looking for a way through there on Dane Angel in the Honda Type R, and wow, they are side by side heading towards the S's. Let's see if that's going to end up in tears or hopefully get a GTI a little bit higher up than what it is right now. As they get to the top of the hill, it is Simon Moss under attack from Johan Fourie. Gennaro Bonafide tucked in right behind, waiting for something to go wrong, and Michael Steven just waiting to pounce. Van Rooyen's behind him. Hodges has closed the gap. So we've got all of the top contenders in Sassel Global Touring Cars back at the front and all looking for a chance to take another victory here. Just behind them is the battle for GTC2. We'll try and pick that up just in the background, but right now, Simon Moss is just opening up a small margin, and it's a big enough margin just to maintain the lead.
Oh, no,
He's thrown it away. He's gone and thrown it away all on his own sim, going into Crocodiles a little bit too hot, and he's looped it out completely. And now trying to come back almost Monster Moss style. He's got to wait for all the GTC2 cars to come back on track, and it looks like he might have stalled the car. No, he's got it going again. Can he get back on track? Yo, he is battling to get that car back on track now. You can see this is going to be a costly outing here for Simon Moss, and certainly not the way he wanted to go there with the lead he had.
We were just saying, the championship points, even at this early stage of the season, are so vital, and at the moment, Simon Moss and certainly Daniel Rowe are not having it all their own way. Here comes Michael Steven on the inside there of Van Rooyen. So the number 1 car just starting to come through the field now, up into 3rd place. We're really in a diminished field here, but still, we've got the fastest of the fast in South African motorsport out on track now. And Steven, once again, that consistency just coming through. Bonafide has benefited the most here. Remember, he was at the back of that pack in version 1 of this race. There is Simon Moss, got the car started again. And so easy to do coming on Crocodile. You had such low RPM, get on the gas, so much horsepower in these cars, and obviously just broke traction and spun around. Yeah, we got Bonafide on the inside of Fourie, and Bonafide at the front of the field now. Now, it's up to the likes of Michael Steven and, of course, the hard-charging Hodges there to try and do something about Bonafide up front.
You know, if they see Bonafide's at the front, they're going to have to do something about it pretty early on. They know that they've got the pace. They've already seen it in race number 1. Johan Fourie would have tinkered around with the car to ensure that he's got some race pace here for race 2. As they get to the top of the hill, Fourie coming straight back at the charge and looking for a way through on that Sassel BMW of Gennaro Bonafide. Michael Steven not too far off the back end. He is just waiting for something to go wrong there between those 2 BMWs. And in fact, if he waits too long, he's going to be caught out there. Front end of the GTC2s. At this stage, it's Blandy. Blandy hangs on, and he's got a little bit of pressure coming from Masters. Look at Dane Angel, though. Dane Angel all over the back and looking for a way through there on Smallberger. Smallberger and Angel going at it side by side. Eventually, Smallberger going around the outside, and that's a good move. That's a lot of some cojones to hang on to the outside of Leocop, I can tell you. But he's got it all done. Here comes Michael Steven looking for a way through on 3rd place.
And Hodges.
And Hodges eventually gets through on the BMW. So the Rustenburg Rocket just gets dropped and demoted down 1 position. But Michael van Rooyen is not going to hold back. He's going to come straight back at Hodges. Wow, that is awesome stuff. Hodges just seems to lose drive.
No, he's got a problem.
Hodges has lost drive, and the Volkswagen pulls to the sideline. The Jetta is out. Both Jettas out of this race. That is massive for Volkswagen Motorsport. Definitely not what they wanted, and not what Matthew Hodges wanted, not after the pace he showed at the end of race number 1. So we've got 3 BMWs and an Audi all fighting for the podium now. It's Gennaro Bonafide, Johan Fourie, Michael Stephen and Michael van Rooyen. Michael van Rooyen, just to remind everybody, has just come back from competing in the Cape Epic. So he's going to be a little bit wary when it comes to that side of things. But having to compete in a mountain bike race like that, you've got to have an exceptional fitness level. So he's going to have what it takes to take on Michael Stephen and Johan Fourie for possibly second place on this podium.
And Michael Stephen trying to make his way ahead of Johan Fourie, not able to make a stick there. There is the stricken now Matthew Hodges, unfortunately on the side there. Not a good day in race number 2 here for the VW clan. A little bit of smoke coming out of that car. So obviously something very terminal. Out front, still Trevor Bland here. And looks like Keegan Masters has dropped now behind Liebenberg there.
Yeah.
So some kind of issue there. We didn't quite see what happened to Masters. But the three-wheeled Mini going around Sunset there. Will Masters try and line up something? No, goes defensive, does the Mini driver. And at the moment, while they are fighting, Trevor Bland just slowly extending that lead. He'll know that he'll want to try and pull out as much of a gap as possible, because once Keegan Masters gets into a rhythm, we saw from race number 1 that he certainly is the man to beat in this class. But look at that, it's almost four-wheel steering stuff as they go through the S's. And here we go, Michael Stephen now on the inside there of Johan Fourie, and Van Rooyen also trying to make the move. Runs a little bit wide, and Fourie comes fighting back, and does Michael Van Rooyen. So Stephen there with an uncanny mistake there going into Crocodile and just running a little bit wide, and it just shows you just lose that little bit of traction, a little bit of drive, and you can lose 2 places. He comes fighting back now into the final turn and makes the move stick. Does he have the drive now down the front straight? It's a BMW versus Audi battle now down the long front straight.
The money is on which mic, though. That's the problem right now as they come through and complete another lap. We have completed 3 of the 10 that are scheduled for the second start of GTC's race 2 here. Michael van Rooyen going very on the attack. Look at that, looking left and right. Going to cut back here and see if he can find a way through. He runs a bit wide. That's costly. He should have just tried to come back on that apex and got it very late, but unfortunately Michael Stephen saw him coming and made him run wide. So it's going to be very, very close between the 2 Michaels right now. Stephen at this stage has the advantage, and he's just keeping Van Rooyen behind him, but it's not for that much longer. They are both starting to close once again on Johan Fourie. Now I wonder if all that battle scarring on the side of Johan Fourie's car is going to have the same effect as it did in the first race, where he started to fade into the latter part of the race. Bland from Liebenberg. Liebenberg is ahead now, and comfortably ahead of Masters. Masters being closed down by Smallberger. And remember, Charles Smallberger had some great pace in that first one, particularly considering he had some big puffs of smoke coming out of the car in certain areas, particularly here at the exit of Yuxka.
Keegan Masters not having the same kind of impact he did in race number 1, just settling there in 3rd place. Not making any impact on Trevor Bland and Liebenberg ahead of him. Looks like he's got some issues there because he was pulling to the right, going very defensive there, not to let Smallberger through. So maybe a little bit of horsepower issues or something on that car. Stephen has closed right on the tailpipes there now of Johan Fourie once again. He's going to flat out stuff, 240 k's plus run through the left-hander here, down the mine shaft. Will he line something up on the inside? I think Fourie will go all kinds of defensive. Yes, he does. Michael Stephen, no place past there. Remember, he did it the lap before. Ran a little bit wide, so a little bit more cautious this time. He's going to try and sit there, maybe into the final turn on the inside, and then it's a horsepower battle down the front straight. But while these 3 are battling there for the final podium positions, Bonafide has just checked out front in that Sassel BMW.
Yeah, Fourie is definitely slowing them up. There's no doubt about it. And allowing Bonafide to get away. Michael Stephen now looking for a chance to get through on Johan Fourie if he can. We watch for the slipstream effect down this main straightaway now as they head down there and into Crowthorne Corner. He is tucked in absolutely to perfection. But Michael van Rooyen could possibly capitalize on it. He wasn't quite close enough to do it. Here they come under braking, pulling out, and latest of the breakers there, Johan Fourie. Once again, Johnny Fury showing that he has got what it takes to run at the front end of a saloon car race. Multiple saloon car champion in his own right. Multiple South African champion in various forms of motorsport. And Masters off the track.
I said he had some kind of problem with that
Volkswagen Motorsport are having a nightmare. That is all 4 cars out of the Volkswagen Motorsport stable parked on the sideline and out of this race.
Broken
that is
control
huge.
Arm apparently on that car, so big problems there. As here we go, Michael Stephen on the inside. He got the drive coming onto the back straight, and he's put it on the inside there of Johan Fourie. Michael van Rooyen trying to make the same pass, going around the outside. You're not going to do that going into Clubhouse. So Fourie, like you said, maybe those little problems that he had, the battle scars there, just coming into play now, because Michael Stephen once again kept his nose clean, being consistent, up into 2nd place, and could be leaving Kyalami 2nd place in the championship with good solid points.
Not a bad effort there from him, but look at the way Van Rooyen is now starting to charge. The Rustenburg Steel Corporation BMW looking for an opportunity to get through there on a stablemate. He's going to try something under the braking at the top of the hill into Leokop. He goes on the inside. He has a look, shows the wheel. Fourie shuts the door. Very close between those 2 BMWs, but I think Johan Fourie might just have him matched for now. Let's see what that late race pace is going to be like. We're into the second half of this race now, and slowly but surely getting down into the nitty-gritty of this race too, because we are sitting with 3 BMWs and an Audi left in GTC. And GTC2 is also starting to heat up big time.
Michael van Rooyen is trying every which way possible to make that move on Johan Fourie. I think he knows that he's got the same kind of pace as Michael Stevens, so he wants to try and go with the Audi driver. This man out front has pretty much dominated both races so far today. Bonafide doing a brilliant job out front, but it's certainly that battle for second, third, and fourth place. It's still Michael Stevens holding it down. But has Van Rooyen able to make it? Yes, he has. He's got up into third place now. So I think Johan Fourie at best will settle for that fourth place. I don't think he's got the same kind of pace as the two drivers ahead of him. It's now whether or not Michael van Rooyen can get ahead and challenge Michael Stevens just ahead of him.
Looking at the braking.
Oh, Fourie!
Where is Fourie going?
Oh!
That is massive. That is massive. Fourie has lost brakes completely. As he tapped the brake, there was nothing left. He went flying across the circuit, and Michael Stevens is now going to try and drive that car like a rallycross car. There is no front end left on that left-hand side of the car,
no,
and Michael Stevens doesn't realize that. He thinks he can continue driving. Johan Fourie, hopefully he's okay. That was a massive moment. He climbs out of the car. He's going to be shaken, but man, that is massive. You can see he's not happy. He doesn't want anybody near him. He just wants a little bit of section to collect himself. Michael Stevens, first man across to say, "Are you okay?" You realize there was nothing to do with Johan Fourie there. He just absolutely went streaming across the circuit, completely out of control, and was just a passenger in that vehicle. You can see even Michael Stevens is sore. Look at this. Here's the replay. He's on the braking marker. That's at the 75-meter marker, as is where we're supposed to brake. He's going to climb on the anchors, and as soon as he does that, the car loses traction, goes flying across the circuit. He tries to avoid the turning in Michael Stevens, but Michael Stevens just had nowhere to go. There you go. A massive moment down in Crowthorne. The EPS BMW slamming against the wall. And unfortunately, Michael Stevens caught out there by something that he had no control over whatsoever. Very good possibility here of a safety car situation. If not a red flag, we'll wait and see what the call is. But if you're down, there you go, red flag. If you're down at turn 1 Crowthorne corner, you have just seen one of the biggest accidents at the new Kyalami Grand Prix circuit you will ever see in your lives. That was massive. Nothing that any of those two drivers could do. You could see Johan Fourie completely lost control of the car. There was no way to catch it. He went sliding across the circuit and, in fact, just actually accelerated where he should be braking.
Yeah, he used a lot of brakes around the circuit, so maybe just a little bit of brake. You could see he almost squared it off to try and scrub off some speed because he realized he had no brakes. Michael Stevens nowhere to go, but just look at the speed that Fourie still goes
off the ground when he hit the barrier.
He was airborne. The amount I don't even want to know what kind of speed he carried into there. That is why he's feeling a little bit second-hand. And even the impact that Stevens took, there's Bonafide. He must be thinking,
looking back going,
what has happened?
Who am I racing with you? There's only Michael van Rooyen left in the race. There's 2 BMWs left in this race, and unfortunately, both of them looking across going, what has gone down? Michael van Rooyen saw what happened. He was fortunate not to be involved, but there's only 2 GTCs left. And a bit of a race of attrition here, unfortunately, as this is what happens when you've got the top drivers pushing these cars to the limit and beyond them. And unfortunately, they have been caught out by a massive incident down at Crowthorne Corner. So I'm looking across. I can see there's another Audi there. There's the 2 drivers, fortunately. Okay, you can hear us down there, Mike. Michael Stevens and Johan Fourie. Hopefully you can hear us down at Crowthorne. Hopefully all okay. We saw the thumbs up from the drivers, but yo, that was huge, buddy. Medical staff on standby and into call immediately there. You can see them pulling the helmets away now. For people out there that don't realize what's going to happen, they'll actually go and check those helmets, same as what they do on a motorcycle, just to ensure that there's no cracks or damages on those helmets. And the medical team here, of course, spot on A1, one of the best in the country, if not the best in the country. A super effort there for getting down there so rapidly. The doctor, of course, in that Porsche coming down to make sure that both drivers are okay. But as you saw, they both walked away. The first man to get to Johan was actually Michael Stevens. Incredible to see how that man is so fit to climb out of his race car and run across to see his good friend and arch rival on the track only, of course, is okay. He knew that when that car hit, there was nothing he could do about it.
Just a testament to how safe these cars as well. Yeah. We saw it with Daniel Rowe in race number 1. I mean, he came down the hill there and hit into the tire wall at 200.
Robert Volk,
sorry.
Yes.
And he came down the hill and he hit the tire wall at who knows what kind of speed. So to see the drivers climb out of these cars is a testament to how safe and well built those cars are.
100%. We were saying about 240 k's an hour through the sweep.
Oh, man.
So if you lose traction through there or you lose braking ability through there, you're going to accelerate across the grass. So by the time he hit the wall, probably going to be close to 280, maybe 300 k's an hour.
What was Fourie doing down there?
Fourie must have been doing close to that as well as he came across the circuit. If you look at where he braked, you can see there in that shot just above Michael Stevens' car, the braking markers of where he tried to avoid. He tried to get the car into a spin, and as it literally went across that track, he was not slowing down, he was accelerating.
He was keep going,
And then, of course, he clipped the curb. It shot him across and over
the wet grass,
the kitty litter and the wet kitty litter and grass. And by the time he hit the wall, he was still airborne. as he slammed into the side of that barrier. So very lucky to be able to get out of a car and walk away, but also showing the testament of how fit these drivers are.
I'll tell you who else is fit. The Kyalami Marshals.
Now, they've worked today.
They've worked harder than anyone today.
They have certainly had their work cut out for them today. There's no doubt about that one. Good to see the two guys smiling and okay, but I'm sure they're probably going to have a little checkup. One of the strongest drivers in this country, there's no doubt about it, Fourie. I think if he had to change a truck tire, he could probably do it on his own in his truck company.
But
he'd pick the truck up and put it in there. You
just use his shoulder as a jack.
So the one cool thing about this, and it's always not a nice thing to see race cars stricken on the sideline, but both drivers okay, and thumbs up from both of them, which is a good thing. So needless to say, we'll have to wait and see what the call is now. We were on halfway stage of this race. They're probably going to call the halfway stage. Having completed 2 and 5, they may be able to do a combination of the two, depending on what the COC's working out and strategy is. If they do 7 of the 10, that of course completes the 70% that's required. So if they go with those 2 laps and these 5.
Michael Stevens' car, apparently one of the tires is on fire. That is why the fire extinguishers are out there. So that is what the little delay is. Of course, this is just another delay, so we don't want to delay things too long. So I think they could possibly call this as a result and get the other categories. Remember, we still got the 2 bike categories coming up, and then the V8s and supercars.
Possibility of V8s going out first as well, because of all the debris. They might just give them a chance to clean the track. It's what they used to do in the old Vodacom Power Tour days and West Bank Super Series days. Have a look at this one more time.
He's just trying to scrub off speed, and that's all. He's a passenger.
He's hit the brake there, realized there's no brakes, and just said, okay, I've got to turn this car. Otherwise, it's going to end up in tears. He went on the inside, which is not a bad thing to do. Unfortunately, as you can see there, there he goes across the grass. He accelerates there. The car gets airborne, and he slams into the wall while the car is all 4 wheels off the ground.
And just, I mean, there's wheels, radiators, shocks, everything has flown off those 2 cars. Marshals.
Marshals diving for cover as well.
Oh, man.
That's massive.
Like you said, I don't think you'll see a bigger crash.
There was a big crash there before. Gianni Giannacaro went in there in his BMW. Actually went in face first after also losing brakes down there. But the best thing about that is, of course, looking at the 2 drivers walking away.
Yeah, 100%.
That's all you want to see.
That's all you want to see.
Great work from the teams to create cars that are so safe. So welcome back to some incident-packed events here at the Kyalami Motorsport Festival. That was the first one that unfortunately brought the race to a little preliminary stop after race 2 got started. Daniel Rowe ending up on the sideline, and then Adrian Wood also followed him. And this is what caused the stop of the second one. Have a look at this. A massive impact between Johan Fourie EPS BMW and the Petronas Cintium Audi of Michael Steven. And unfortunately, we've had a couple of minutes now quickly to clean things up. The Kyalami Marshal's doing an incredible job there, you can see. That's what turn 1 Crowthorne Corner looks like now that they've cleaned it up. And we're good to go now for a second start of race 2. We're down on a few cars. Third start, yes, I beg your pardon. It's the third start. Pardon for that. Yeah, third start there of this race 2. So hopefully we can get it right third time lucky. We have got 3 GTCs left. Simon Moss has been able to get his car back onto the grid. We thought they might call it here. So we've got Gennaro Bonafide, Michael van Rooyen, and Simon Moss left in GTCs. Trevor Bland still leading things out in the GTC2s. He was fighting hard with the Mini of Brad Liebenberg. And just behind him was his stablemate, and of course out of the Universal Healthcare team, Charles Smallberger. A much better outing for Dane Angel in the second race. And still the smoking gun there, the Hot Wheels Ford ST of Reino van Heerden. So we've got a couple of cars still left to play here. According to my timing monitor, it says we're going for a 6-lap race, but possibility is might be called for a 5 by the time the COC gets back up here, and our guys down at Pro Timing change that for us. We'll wait and see. But right now we are sticking with what's on our boards in front of us, and that'll be a 6-lap race still to go here for the second race of Sassel Global Touring Cars. Reminder to everybody that's out there in Facebook land, if you're watching us all over the world, we've got guys coming in from Hong Kong, from Milton on Keys, you name it. It's all over America, Backpan. We've got guys at Pakisa, Zoe Jackson's in the house, Action Jackson and all the guys testing. So good to see that they're watching all the action here from Kyalami as well. Big shout out to you guys. Stevie Haywood, another Steve. Now we've got birds in the way. This is Graham sending people out there looking for birdies. We've got 2 racing pigeons running across the back of crocodiles there. Hopefully they're going to be out of the way pretty soon. But Evan Robertson also having a little bit of baptism of fire in his return to what was, of course, the original production cars, now global touring cars. The last time he was fighting in a turbocharged or force-inducted class, he was in a Renault Megane, fighting with the Minis. And now he's in the Mini, taking over the seat there from Chris Shorter.
Yeah.
Right, so stand by, ladies and gents, for some more action now from global touring cars. Bonafide and Van Rooyen, the front row. Simon Moss is definitely going to be looking for a front row and possibly top of the step or the podium by the time the flag comes out. And that's about to happen in about 6 laps' time. Rob, they go to the line, lights on, lights off, and here we go.
Yeah, version number 3 of race number 2 of the Sasol GTC. They're under starters orders now. Does look like Bonafide has got the launch there. Simon Moss perfectly placed on the inside there of Michael van Rooyen. Here comes the Civic, just a little bit there, further behind there in the GTC2, but it is Liebenberg leading out there. And Bonafide will slot into the first place just ahead of Simon Moss. Moss spun out in version 2 of this race, so that he'll be happy to see that this race has been restarted. Now up into second place, and those valuable championship points that we were talking about now back in his hand.
Possibilities of a top step at the podium as well. Look at that, Dane Angel up to second place in the Type R Civic for Autohaus Angel. He is all the way from Cape Town, remember, and now ahead of the 2 GTIs that looked like they were the dominant force here in the second start of this second race. Now as they go through Sunset, it's Dane Angel who makes the Honda move up 1 position and up into contention there with Brad Liebenberg. Bad Brad hanging on for now, having done some duties already internationally in karting. He's had some fun and games last year at the end of the season with the World Karting Championships, and now looking to possibly take the second victory here for the Signature Motorsport team. He, of course, running in that Ferrodo liveried machine of Signature Motorsport.
Yeah, that Civic of Dane Angel, it really is a beautiful sight to see that car. Bonafide now already on this opening lap, starting to stamp his authority on this race. Simon Moss doing everything he can. Van Rooyen also just trying to stick in there. It's all about getting those valuable championship points now. They know how many incidents have happened now in race number 2 already. So it's just bring those cars home, take the points on offer, and Bonafide, things stay this way and nothing happens. No commentator's curse. That's good, valuable championship points for him. And he will leave the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit, not only in first place in the championship, but with a comfortable gap over last year champion Michael Steven, who has no points in race number 2.
Yeah, it's a hard day.
Simon Moss.
Simon Moss, just to let you know, we've already lost the first Audi. Let's try and keep the second one on track, please. We've got one left of each of those stables. Let's keep it all together if they can. Across the line and completing the first lap of this 6. It is all about Gennaro Bonafide ahead of Simon Moss. 1.2 seconds ahead, in fact, and another 1.2 seconds down to Michael van Rooyen. So pretty much even Stevens at the front, even though we don't have a Steven involved in that race. As they come across the line, how's this? 2 GTIs attacking Angel, left and right of him as they head down towards Crowthorne. And Dane Angel now trying to go defensive. He's got Bland on the inside. He's got Smallberger on the outside. He's the meat in the sandwich. He tags the back end of Bland. Bland goes sideways, just catches it. Woo! Incredible stuff. Almost another big one down into Crowthorne again. But Dane Angel just trying to keep both of those GTIs at bay. He picked the one. It was probably the most dangerous one to go for, and that's exactly why he's ended up behind both of them, unfortunately, there.
That was good driving from Bland to keep that all together. And Liebenberg will be looking in his rearview mirror, seeing those 3 fighting at it and thinking, if I could just put my head down now, put in some fast laps, he could pull away and pick up the comfortable win here. Bland still trying to fend off Smallberger there, doing a good job. You can see a little bit of damage now from that altercation there with the Honda Civic and the other GTR. But the little Mini Cooper just stretching his legs now, while the 3 of these 3 battle out for that final podium position. The Mini Cooper is just stretching away now and looks comfortable out front. But those GTRs are now starting to get some kind of pace going, and if they work together, could be right on the back tailpipes of the Ferrodo Mini.
Well, I said stablemates. They're actually not stablemates. No, they're in separate teams, but they look very similar. As they come up onto the braking markers, you can see Smallberger attacking his stablemate. They're similar cars, but different teams. Dane Angel waiting for an opportunity again. He hasn't given up here.
No.
He lost a little bit of ground in the restart after race 2's second start, but now looks like he's got those 2 GTIs marked and matched and waiting for them to do something wrong. Ooh. Look at Liebenberg on the inside of the sweep, using a little bit of the extra track available to him. Here comes Smallberger, putting massive pressure onto Bland. Bland just soaking it up. He has got a little bit of damage at the back of that little tag, but it's nothing major. And Dane Angel, look at that, closes right up on those GTIs, under braking into Crocodile. So this section of the circuit, as I say, that Angel gets onto 2 wheels. I was going to say, Dane Angel is very good through here, but he puts it up onto 2 wheels. Remember, that's a man who's come out of single make series down in Cape Town. He stepped up into the V8 Masters, did a great job. He's had some fun and games in the 458 Ferrari with his dad in the Endurance Championship here in South Africa, and is now looking to take on the best in GTC2 in his Type R Civic.
Bonafide is perfectly out front, so he's doing a great job. Second place there is still Moss, and it looks like we've lost Van Rooyen. Where has Van Rooyen gone?
Michael van Rooyen has gone missing as Rob picks up on one of the chips coming through there. He's slowing. Michael van Rooyen slowing as they come into Yixgay. So Liebenberg's Mini starting to close down on him. So are the two GTIs and Dane Angel in the Honda Type R as they head down into Yixgay and out of it onto the back straight away. Van Rooyen, he's got to just try and keep that car circulating, because even with the 4 laps to go, he can still score some very valuable championship points to end up in 3rd place. So if he can just try and finish up and get as many of those points in the bag, it's going to help him out. He'll probably just try and nurse that car to the checkered flag if he can. But now it's Liebenberg who is under attack, and Liebenberg has been closed down. Oh, here we go. The smoking gun is back. Smallberger under braking into Clubhouse. Yet again, a massive puff of smoke coming out of the back of that GTI. I'm not quite sure what's gone wrong with that car, but it doesn't affect his ability. He's still got the drive, he's still got the potency, and he's still looking to go and attack the GTI in front of him there of Trevor Bland.
There we go, coming up to Louis Kopp for the 4th time of asking now. Only 4 laps remaining in this race, and it's still the Liebenberg out front in that Mini. Smallberger, I don't know what kind of problem he's got in that car. It only seems to have in Clubhouse, but look at this out front now. Simon Moss has not given up on this. He'll have, what is that, 2 laps remaining after this to try and do something about 3 laps remaining.
3 to go now.
He certainly has closed that gap, and you can see Bonafide's got a problem with something.
Bonafide's swerving side to side, just having a look to see if there's something wrong with the car. You can see just picking up.
That gap has closed.
No, it's just the screen that was picking up.
That gap is closed.
No, it's definitely closed down there, that gap between Bonafide and Moss. So Moss looking for a chance now.
Oh, he's got problems.
Bonafide is slowed dramatically. Bonafide's got a problem, and he's now, big trouble here. Simon Moss. Possibility of running out of fuel? I don't know. No, I don't think so. They would have fueled the car for a couple extra laps if they needed it. And now Simon Moss runs off the circuit.
Oh, no.
What is going down here?
He's swerving to try and get fuel in that car.
There's a fuel starvation of some kind there, I think, as he's trying to get the fuel to go. But it doesn't look like it's working here for Bonafide. So Bonafide now needs to try and nurse that car to the line. He gets going again, but this is just turning into an absolute chaotic event here. Not the way they wanted it to go. Bonafide's still going left and right. There's a possibility here of, I don't know, we're going to have to wait and see. Simon Moss at this stage has got it all to do. He's been gifted a victory here. He's got first, second, and third, in fact.
Just drive slowly and finish. That's all you need to do now, Simon Moss. Just keep it all together, and you could be coming out of this. I mean, the beginning of this race, if you had told him that you would potentially win and pick up all the championship points, he would have taken your arm off. This is still the good battle that's going on in the GTC2 category. Liebenberg in the Ferrari Mini still out front. They're being chased heavily now by the 2 GTRs of Smallberger and Bland. Fortunately, Dane out of that fight now. They're in the Civic, but anything could still happen. As you've seen
today. Van Rooyen.
There's Van Rooyen.
Van Rooyen is just nursing the car home. He wants to get it across the line. He needs those points. He realizes that those championship points are so vital, especially when this championship comes down to the wire like it has over the last 2 seasons. So any points you can get, you are going to try everything you know. He's going to be freewheeling in areas he can freewheel. He's going to be using whatever engine power he's got left in the areas he needs to use it. Other than that, he's going to just get that car to the checkered flag. Trevor Bland now starting to up the pace ever so slightly. Have a look at the last lap times out of Blandy. He has gone 2:01.132s, which is nearly half a second quicker than the 6:19s coming out of the Mini. And that's why he's closed up right onto the exhaust pipes there of that John Cooper Works Mini of Brad Liebenberg.
Yeah, Bland is the man on the move now. He can smell the victory now. Coming through Cheetah. We'll keep it nice and together there. Into the final turn now. Come across the line. We'll try and pick up the slipstream and potentially make a move on the inside going into turn number 1. There is Bonafide. He's still trying to nurse that car home. Swerving from side to side like that. Oh, no, he's pulled off. He's pulled off.
He's realized that there's an issue. It's not going to be able to get round, and that's going to... I don't want to say anything, but there's a possibility of Michael van Rooyen still passing him on the sideline. If Michael van Rooyen can keep his car going, Van Rooyen could move up to second place in GDCs. So the 2 GTRs are on the hunt, and they are looking for a little red car in front of them, driven by Brad Liebenberg. And that little Mini Cooper is working double time to keep both of them at back. Look at how they're fighting, though. A little bit of an in-the-ass fight here between the 2 GTRs. Remember, separate teams there, different stables, and different driving techniques coming out of Smallberger. Smallberger using his driving technique to close in on Blandy now, and Bland could be in trouble. Trevor Bland is certainly under attack from Charles Smallberger, and the 2 of them looking to close down on the Mini in front. 3-way battle. If something goes wrong between those 3, Dane Angel is sitting pretty, waiting for something to go wrong. He hasn't got quite the pace of the GTIs and the Minis initially, but I can tell you something. If something goes wrong, he's going to be in there and in with a shout to the podium. It'll be the first time we get a Honda onto the podium in GTC2.
What is it with GTIs smoking through Clubhouse? Because that lap round, it was Trevor Bland's car. Ooh. Dane in the Civic.
Thanks, Dane Angel, for just giving us another heart attack moment there. We appreciate that. And Royan was like just holding, he's got no power, so he can't get out of the way if he wants to. So Dane Angel had to make the move exactly what a faster driver has to do if you come up on a slow marker, is you decide where you're going to pass him. And speaking of passing, here comes Smallberger for the pass. Smallberger is in with a shot here as they head down the mine shaft into the sweep. There's a very good possibility as they come down into the sweep here that Smallberger is going to dive on the inside. Bland knows that. He goes defensive. Oh, great driving from Trevor Bland. Keeps out Smallberger's attack.
It's the last lap now, so that's why he's going very defensive. Clips a little bit of curve there, so loses lots of drive. Here comes Smallberger. We cannot go too abreast through Cheetah. We know that. But coming in, sideways, flicking it, goat kart style, sideways into the final turn. Now Smallberger goes on the inside, but Bland goes defensive. Here we go around the outside. It's going to be a drag race. Look at the brake that's lit up on that GTI.
That is amazing stuff out of Smallberger. Trying to drive around the outside of Ingwe as they start their final lap. Our leader is already halfway through this lap. And it goes across the line. Absolutely amazing stuff with 1 to go there. They are side by side heading down towards Crowthorne. Here comes Smallberger on the outside. He's trying around the outside of Ingwe. Maybe he can get it around the outside of Crowthorne. Is he going to be able to do it? No. Trevor Bland runs him very deep into the corner and hangs on to second. It's not over between these two GTIs. Oh no. Michael van Rooyen. Can you believe it? Has he got ahead of Gennaro Bonafide, though? No, he hasn't.
He's completed 75% of the race, so he will score points.
Can you believe it? Yeah, no, so will Gennaro.
So will Gennaro.
But at this stage, Gennaro is just, well, we wait and see. There's a possibility that Michael van Rooyen might have passed Gennaro as they come through there. Let's wait and see what's going to happen now. Look at the GTI battle, though. Absolutely amazing stuff here between Bland and Smallberger as they go through. And Simon Moss coming to take the checkered flag. He's out of Crocodiles, heading towards Cheetah and Ingwe. Last corner coming up for Simon Moss. An absolute gift.
It's just like a zombie wasteland of cars out on track.
This is the only car to finish in GDCs. Yep. So that's a bit of a race of attrition, unfortunately, for the Saffron Global Touring cars.
And he still uses all the track and more.
If he has to. Simon Monster Moss
getting his full entry fee out of
his victory comfortably in the end, even though he had to work hard for it initially.
Oh, here we go.
If he'd known what was going to happen, I probably would have taken it easy from the start.
Go.
GDI is still in effect here, though.
Smallberger is lining something up here. He tries to go tight there, but Bland using all his racecraft here to go very defensive on this final lap. Please don't end nasty. Just please keep it neat and tidy. I don't think there is such a thing with Smallberger and Bland.
Come on,
here we go. When you go on the inside, there's no room.
This is the baby cheeseburger.
It's going to be the final turn. It's got to be the final turn.
He's not close enough. He's not close enough.
Clips the curve there, Trevor Bland. It loses. Oh, and he's run wide.
This could possibly give an advantage to Smallberger. Very close between these two now as they go through the final turn. Yeah, they come. He's just too far off, I think. Rob, I don't know if he's going to go from there. Oh, he's going to have a go. Yeah, he goes right on the inside. Right, it's going to be Blimberg to take the second victory for GTC2s. The Signature Motorsport team will be happy with that. Trevor Bland is going to be thinking to himself, what
look how close
happened here with that smoking gun behind me? How did he manage to stay with me the whole time? Bland comes through for second, and it's Smallberger for third. Dane Angel eventually in fourth place. Well, there's your lone car to finish the race. That is Simon Moss in the 38 Special, the Engine and Patronus Cintium Audi. Hot Wheels is still in the house. Rainer van Heerden. Very cool. Man alive, did we have some fun and games in this Sassel Global Touring car race.
Is he sponsored by Hot Wheels? Or is
he's sponsored by Hot Wheels.
Oh, that's a cool sponsor.
Yeah, that's a real cool sponsor to have, bud. Very tasty. So that's how it finishes up here for the Sassel Global Touring car.
Getting a lift.
Nice, Gennaro Bonafide. Thank you very much. Thank you, Trevor Bland, for stopping. Yeah, there we go. Just get the Uber bill from him, please. Okay. Okay.
Charge it.
This is good Uber technology coming into play here. He just phoned Trevor Bland on the way. He said, listen, just stop and Uber me home, please, buddy.
Send me your
Gennaro's so big he can't get in the car. That's how tall Gennaro is. He can't even fit into a GTI anymore. They have to give him a BMW. Otherwise, he's not able to play.
Otherwise, he can't drive. Yeah.
Oh, that's not right. Oh, well, that's how it finishes up. So Sassel Global Touring Cars, a bit of a race of attrition.
You can't say it wasn't exciting.
What an exciting day for Sassel Global Touring Cars. The boys from Sassel and the GTCs are going to be happy with that kind of action. Yes, there's a lot of work to be done in between the two races now before they go down to Cape Town. Dane Angel is certainly going to be happy with the performance of his car. Heading to sea level, could possibly be at the front end.
He came all the way to Kyalami and he competed. That's exactly what he would have wanted. Coming into the weekend, I think if you had said he would be competing right at the sharp end of the field in GTC2, he would have taken your hand off. And he did that in that Honda Civic. And I think, like you said, when we get to Cape Town, a circuit he knows and conditions he knows, he's really going to be right up there for the fight.
So, ladies and gents, that brings us to the end of the coverage for Sassel Global Touring Cars. We're just waiting for our highlights package. And when I say highlights,
take 4 hours.
Man, have we got highlights.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of highlights.
We've got a lot to show you.
Out. They're about to come our way. Here we go. This was the start initially of race 2.
Version
start 1 of 3.
Yeah.
It was all good to go until they got down towards turn
Daniel Rowe, the
one.
man.
Daniel Rowe hanging on to that inside line, just trying to keep everybody else at bay and doing a great job of it. Ferrari ran ever so slightly wide. Gennaro Bonafide made up very good ground right from the word go. Started to tick them off one by one. Then down onto the braking markers, Simon Moss started to put the pressure onto Daniel Rowe. Daniel Rowe soaked it up. A little bit of close maneuvering there between Moss and Rowe. And Rowe got out of shape, straight into the side of Johan Ferrari. He managed to catch it. Rowe destroying the front end of his car and breaking the suspension. And there you can see just sliding into the exit point of Ingwe corner. That made a restart. It was not only him, it was also Adrian Wood that was involved in an incident there, which caused the red flag to come out in a restart, which means Simon Moss now led the field out, heading for start 2 of 3. Moss, Ferrari, Stephen, and Bonafide fighting with Hodges, who's still in the pack, Michael van Rooyen, and of course the rest of the GTC2 field. Down towards turn 1, very, very clean. Little bits and pieces of debris. I think that was off Johan Ferrari's car that came off there. Some more battle scars on that machine. Simon Moss looked to take them all out, and then unfortunately spun out on his own while he was leading. So he just got to the front, spun things out. That was on the second restart. Now Bonafide hit the front and decided, okay, time to get away from all the action. Johan Ferrari tried to go with him. He was followed very closely by Michael Stephen, who eventually shot through up into 3rd place. Michael van Rooyen on his tail. Then we saw the demise of race 1 winner, Keegan Masters, out of GTC2. He parked on the sideline. Then there was BMWs fighting with Audis. Lots of BMWs coming together, little taps and close action between van Rooyen and Ferrari. And it was all Gennaro Bonafide getting away at the front end and looking to open up a big margin, which is exactly what he was doing until this happened. Johan Ferrari, no brakes, slamming into the side of the turn-in point of Michael Stephen and flying into the wall. Restart number 3, headed down towards turn number 1. Very close action between Dane Angel's Type R Civic and, of course, Trevor Bland's GTI. Michael van Rooyen then slowed up dramatically, tried to nurse the car around. He unfortunately would end up parking at the bottom of the hill. Gennaro Bonafide doing a very similar thing. It looked like it had a little bit of a fuel surge issue there on the car. He tried to get the fuel to work in the car. Eventually it gave up and he had to pull to the sideline. He'll still finish second in the race, even though he stopped there. And Michael van Rooyen just got around the corner and up the hill and had to stop himself. 2 GTIs then went to the line, Smallberger and Bland. And they gave it everything they could to get across the line, to start the final lap like that, and to end the final lap behind Simon Moss, very closely matched. It was going to be a bit of a GTI battle there. Pity we didn't have Masters. There you can see the stricken Michael van Rooyen. That was the last of everybody except one in Sasol Global Touring Cars. And Simon Moss eventually coming across to take the checkered flag and bring this incredibly chaotic race to a final close.
Can you believe it?
Winning class GTC2 was Brad Liebenberg. Blandy came through for second and then eventually picked up Gennaro Bonafide to take him home and back to pit lane for the podium ceremony down under. So if you are around and you want to go and speak to those drivers, find out firsthand what went wrong, shoot down to the Sasol Global Touring Car podium ceremony taking place probably in the next couple of minutes. But up next, we're going two-wheeled racing, and it's Bridgestone, Thunderbikes, and Sub-10s. First one out, nearly good to go.